You can love it or hate it, but it's major. What's up, angels? It's your Belle, and I'm back with another review of Love Goals. Now, this is season 1, episode 2, and just to recap, Benzino and Althea have so many issues that we really didn't get into the other couple's issues, but we're definitely going to go ahead and get into that today because they're starting to be real and let it hang out. So we're going to skip the small stuff and get right into it. So Dee and Sundy have a little powwow with Althea. Althea starts this whole Benzino bashing blame game thing that she does and spin through her a jewel. She said, you know what? This is a thing that we can all get something if we just focus on ourselves. So in other words, while you're blaming Benzino for everything that you're going through, and he's definitely not the reason, try to focus on yourself so you can get everything out of this that you're supposed to, and maybe you both can come out on the other side of it as better people and be able to co-parent in some way, shape, or form. Honey, that must have made the light come on for Althea because she did a little bit of self-reflection and she realized and actually communicated to those ladies that she's always been controlled by powerful men. Now, when she said powerful men, I got the feeling that she wasn't talking about some spiritual leader who lives a modest life yet has a huge following. What she was talking about is being controlled by men with money. In other words, in the past, she's done anything to be with a man with money, aka I'm a gold digger. And it's crazy because I've learned in life that whatever someone works the hardest to try to prove that they're not, that's exactly what they are. And that's no shade because if the gold digging glass slipper fits, wear it. But at least she began to focus on herself because then Teresa said, you know what? What can we do to take back your power? What can we do to change today? You know, what can we do to just go one day at a time with your healing process? And then she came up with the idea, which is great. She said, let's stop focusing on him. Let's try to go one day without even talking about him. Let's try to go one day without the arguments. Let's try to go one day where you do not speak his name. And I was here for it because that was good advice. Not only will it stop Althea from turning this into the Althea and Benzino show, but it will allow her to truly heal and get something out of this retreat. So the ladies made a pact and that was it. And I kind of sense that Dee and Teresa let a sigh of relief out because they want to actually work on their issues too. And this is great because now we get to get into the other couple's issues. At group therapy, they started off with Teresa and Dwayne. Dwayne says that he struggles with leaving his boys behind, and Teresa simultaneously is trying to communicate to him that she feels like the maid. She feels like having to serve everyone constantly is making this relationship more of a chore than a choice. And that's when Spirit stepped in and gave her the real. She said, Teresa, you teach people how to treat you. So you taught him how to treat you, and he learned. Because of this whole black woman, superwoman syndrome that a lot of us suffer from, I had it in my first marriage. It will never happen again because even though it does make the man feel good, eventually it does come back to bite you because you start to wonder who's taking care of you. While you're taking care of everybody's needs, while you're making sure everybody else is happy, who is making sure that you're happy? And we wouldn't feel like that if somebody was just making sure we were happy. So we might be able to do all these things as long as someone at one point or another comes and acknowledges how hard it is and tries to make it a little bit easier and tries to make it seem like they care even just one bit about how we feel. So I completely understand what Teresa is going through. It's the classic case of people taking your kindness for weakness, and you have to grab the bull by the horns, girl, and let him know what it really is. But that doesn't mean that he should take advantage of you. It just means that you guys should come to a common ground. I know you're not saying that the guys have to leave forever, but hey, we bought this body. Damn, can I show it off a little bit? Can I walk around here? Can we send the kids to grandma's house on the night where the boys are not going to be here? Can I walk around and show out, baby? Can I do what I need to do to keep my man in a real way? But moving on to Didi and Q, I get the sense that Didi is just there for her own personal therapy and that Q is just her support system. Because what it is she has some problems behind her breakup with her group Salt and Pepper, and she's bringing them into her relationship. And I'm just going to take this time to say that if a low self-esteem was a person, it would be Spin, right down to the look on her face. It's so blank and it lacks so much confidence that you would be confused to even believe that she was ever a part of one of the most successful groups of all times. And that successful groups, male or female, she's been a part of one of the most successful groups of all times for the past 30 years. And some people say she should just get over it, but just think about it. Who gets over a 30-year relationship in no time flat? Nobody gets over it that easily. But if somebody owe you money, you don't wait 20 years to say you owe me money. Are you black? You owe me money. I mean, if it's one thing we don't have a problem with, it's getting our money, asking for our money. Where my money at? But I guess we'll get more into their issues a little bit later, because for now, it's not really that big. It seems like she has a thing that she needs to work out and that he's there for her. And I really think that's really nice of him for being there for her, because you don't have to accept somebody's baggage. You don't have to accept their low self-esteem and the things that they're going through. And you definitely don't have to want to try to help them through it. So kudos, dude. But next, we definitely get a taste of what Sundy and Brianna are going through. And it's something that's predictable in my eyes, because when you meet a man a certain way, you just have to understand that he might have met 100 other women that way. So if you can just drop a napkin and bend over and think that this is husband material, this is somebody that is going to marry you one day, I'm not really sure what made you believe that, but I understand where you didn't want him to meet your mom and your daughter. The thing is this, after he met them, that wasn't the time to say, well, since you met him, I guess we together now. It was the time to check him and keep on moving just the way you were. Keep it moving just the way you were. And if they ask about him, yeah, he's cool. If anybody says, what happened to Brian? The guy that we met the other day, or the guy that we met a couple months ago, he's cool. We still talk. It's just not that serious. I just want to take things slow. Not only would that have shown other women that you have self-respect and standards and things that you require for a man to actually be with you long term, but it would show your daughter how to move in a relationship, how to move when it comes to a man that shows interest in her beyond a friendship. So, girl, I'm rooting for you in this, but I just don't see it ending well. He is the way he is, and just like Spirit said, you teach people how to treat you. You taught him, and he learned. When they get to Benzino and Althea in group therapy, it's the same song and dance. Only this time, they were able to get some sort of breakthrough. So after going through the same song and dance, Spirit says, listen, all you guys do is the tit for tat, the back and forth. Hey, you said this, so I'm going to say worse. You said this, so I'm going to say worse. So I'm going to, if you say this, I'm going to hit you. And Benzino was right when he said, if you go to jail for hitting me, you shouldn't have hit me. Okay, period. Because a lot of women like to put their hands on men and don't want to suffer the consequences. So she should be glad that the only consequences that she suffered from hitting her man were that she went to jail, because it could have been a lot worse. Anyway, Spirit steps in and she says, no more tit for tat. You guys do this back and forth, and it's not a competition. It's just a race to win the argument. And so what I want you to do is because Benzino is tired of being bashed and being called the bad guy when he knows he's a good guy. And Althea's tired of being called a gold digger when she knows she's a good mom and she's a businesswoman who gets it for herself. Let me hear you guys say 3 things that are nice about each other. And Benzino goes right in. She's beautiful. Althea automatically says, and that's it. And I'm like, girl, is that all you think of yourself? Is that all you think that he's going to say? Let the man finish. You are popping, right? Let him get it out. So she lets him get it out, and he ends up saying that not only is she beautiful, she's great in real estate, and she's a loyal woman. And when it's her turn, well, actually, that made her cry. And when it was her turn, she said that Benzino has a good heart, he's a good dad, and that he's really an accomplished man. And that is where the light came on for everybody when Spirit said, hey, you two are not the problem. The problems are the problem, period. You two are good. And what I think it is, truthfully, because they made the whole group cry during this, because it's a really touching thing. It's something that really hits you in the heart when you realize that these two people don't hate each other. They just really hate the situation. And so what it is they've created this situation where Benzino hit her up on Twitter because he was trying to get back at his best friend who he knew that, she messed around with him. He wanted to bring somebody to come on the show and kind of bump heads with the Puerto Rican princess. Because if you'll notice, even in this situation, they do know that it's beneficial for them to be the drama on camera because they'll get more camera time. And that's the way it is on reality TV, So aside from the way they met, they are here today and they have a child and they have a relationship. It's just a bad one. And it's bad because I'm just going to be real. Althea did expect more from Benzino, and Benzino probably did misrepresent himself. He probably did, do the whole I can make you a star thing and all of this and all of that. But the truth is that he can. You're calling him a babysitter. You're saying that he's a bad man. But in reality, you just said that he's accomplished, he's a great father, and that he has a good heart. What else could you want from a man other than money? He might not be in the financial position that you want him to be, but he's definitely in the headspace that you need him to be because that is who he is. And hopefully you do see that before it's too late because this is a man that you should appreciate instead of put down, okay? I mean, seriously, you spent the whole show, the whole first episode, and half of the second episode said this man is a fraud. He's just a babysitter and he's this and he's that, only to come back and say that he has a great heart, he is a great father, and he is accomplished. So which is it? Because you did say that you didn't want to come on TV as the angry black girl. Guess what, honey? Right now, you're the angry black girl. So hopefully in the coming episodes, you do clean that up because you are looking really bad right now. Anyways, they brought the whole group to tears and that was over. They even talked about it out in the living room. Hey, I'm not going to be able to cry. If y'all make me cry one more time, I don't know what I'm going to do. And I'm here for the group like, listen, this is too much, okay? Althea and her immaturity, she acting like she going to hit him and stuff. I can't do this. I don't be in rooms where people do that. So they move outside where we get a little bit more of Teresa and Dwayne's issue with these guys. And she says it as clear as day. Just tell them to go home and I will not fight all the time. I won't be mad all the time. Which to me should be a clear indication that something needs to change. It's not like she was mean, but it still fell on deaf ears. He acted like he was listening. But it's just something that he is not getting. She spoke to him later out on their terrace from their room, and she said the same things again, and she's being submissive. She's being calm. She's being cool. She's speaking to her man the way she should. She's telling him, I'm tired. Listen, on some days, I'm dead tired. The babies woke up in the middle of the night and stayed up all night. And you sat your ass there because you was drinking Hennessy all night in the studio with all your quote unquote boys, because if they were men, they wouldn't spend so much time with you. They would find a woman to spend time with, which she definitely made a special point to say they enjoyed the company of all these men more than she's ever seen them enjoy the company of a woman. And you still, after she gives you all of that and says, listen, I'm tired. I have all this that I've done. I can't do this every day. I'm not complaining about our family. This is just the extended family. If you're going to have 8 other people come over here, maybe you need to come in this kitchen and help me. You need to be more hospitable as well, because this was not what I signed up for. And he didn't hear that. He just, I'm tired too. Yeah, me too. You are tired from things that you are choosing to do. She is tired from things that you are choosing for her to do. So as I saw him stand over her and put his salmon color, apricot color shoe on the table, because everybody's got to know that the shoes match the vest, which just so happened to later almost coordinate with what Spirit had on. He was, more interested in his outfit than what she was saying. So he stands over her. And I don't know what you saw, but I saw him talk down to her, both literally and figuratively. I had one of my listeners or one of my viewers actually to say, go ahead and mention how he's gaslighting. And pay real good attention to that. So I watched it a couple times because that's exactly what it was. He was trying to manipulate her. She says, I'm tired. And this fool says, well, you know what? Most men have 3 or 4 women want to do this, and this. So she can feel like, oh, if I don't do these things, my man is going to go and get a few other women so that they can fulfill the role that he feels that I should fill. But that's a whole method of manipulation that I like to call pimp tactics. And it's not fair. You don't do that. You do not do that to somebody that you love. And what I actually saw him tell her, because this is what she wasn't reading, he was basically saying, what you won't do, I'll go and get somebody else to do. I mean, he even goes as far as to say, if I don't give these chores to you, who am I going to give them to? Now, Teresa, that was where you were supposed to show him where he got you effed up at. I mean, seriously, he was like, most men have 3 or 4 women to do all these different things for them. And that is a damn lie. The truth is they have one woman like you, Teresa, doing everything, and they still cheat on her. Okay? I mean, seriously, you have to realize when you're being taken advantage of. He said that your mother did it for 8 kids. It's not that hard. It's not that hard. Are you kidding me? What you need to do is an experiment. Since you think it's not that hard, honey, will you do my job for just one day? And then if after that one day, you still feel the same way, I'll continue on. I won't say another thing. But until you can do my job without complaining the way I do, until you can do my job plus the things that you add on to my job without making any complaints, you can't tell me what's hard as a mother and what's not hard. And then during their therapy session, he even goes on to say, you reminded me of my mom and my aunt, and that's the reason why I said I do. Just more gaslighting, just more mind manipulation. Hey, I wouldn't have said I do if you didn't make me believe that you could do all these things. I wouldn't have married you if you didn't make me believe that you liked to do all these things. And he may be right to some extent, but he's definitely wrong when it comes to ignoring her feelings after she's expressed some discomfort. I mean, you think I got this body right and spent all this money so that I could remind you of your aunt and your grandmother? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? And look, listen, don't get me wrong. I get it. Trust me. In the studio and hip hop, it's a lifestyle. And all those men, they do come with women. So she's saying that it's just those guys over there all the time. But if he's in the studio, trust me, there's some women around too. And she doesn't like that either. But at the same time, listen, you're faithful to me. You love me. Take me out on some dates. Take me on some trips. Don't tell me after you've already lived one dream, which was playing in the NFL, that you have another dream, and that is what's causing you to put me second. When I'm supposed to be a priority in your life, you want to treat me like I'm supposed to make everything you want a priority, but you don't treat me like that. And it's not fair. Can I have one day a week? Can I have one day a week? Please. I'm going to show out. I'm saying. I mean, I just want to remind you of your aunt and your grandma on the holidays. I want you to come in and, some nights throughout the week. I want you to come in and smell pies. I want you to smell greens and cornbread. I want you to smell oxtails. I want you to smell macaroni and cheese. But on other days, I do want you to treat me like a sexy woman where all you want to do is just take me. But even though Teresa expresses all this discomfort, she does make a special point to say that I'm never going to quit on my marriage. I'm never going to leave my husband. I'm going to try to the day I die to get him to love me. And there's no one in this world that should knock that, although we all feel differently, because I need some reciprocity. I have to get back what I put in order to continue to be motivated to do the things that I'm doing. And in the event that I'm not getting back what I put in, I'm going to lose motivation. I'm not going to feel the same way about sex. I'm not going to feel the same way about cooking. I'm not going to feel the same way about the holidays. I might even take a trip on one of those days and be like, just figure out what to do with the kids. I'm dead serious. So after a little back and forth between the both of them, and they get their feelings out, it looks like Teresa's being a little timid. And something about that just makes me a little uncomfortable. I just feel like she's just kind of afraid of him, and just a little. I see that I think he loves her, because when Spirit said she's gonna cater to you and do everything you want her to do, he leaned his head into her like, hell yeah, this is my baby. But when it was time for Teresa to use her voice, Spirit was like, say it. And it just kind of felt to me, because I've been living for a little while, honey, it felt like she had a look on her face that said, I'm just a bit frightened to open up and tell you everything that's going on. So I hope that she does become a little bit more honest and say what's going on throughout these episodes so we can get the tea, honey. We need to know what's going on. It's something. It is something. Don't tell me you go off all the time about these issues that are hurting you, and he never ever acknowledges your feelings and it doesn't escalate, because that's just not a real relationship. That's not even a real relationship in business. If I tell my business partner a few things that are on my mind and they don't pay any attention to it, it's going to escalate. So it's more likely to escalate with someone you love. So I want the tea, and it's not so that I can bash you, but it's so that I can get more of an understanding of your relationship and relationships in general, because I want to be able to teach my daughter and teach my son how to be in different relationships. I want to teach them coping mechanisms and how to compromise when there's something that's going to happen that you don't necessarily agree with. And although I don't agree with him not prioritizing his marriage, especially when he's in a position to do so, what I think more is that Teresa, you should get a hobby. You should have something to do other than your family and other than your home life, because it'll make you feel more fulfilled as a person, and you'd be less inclined to be all up in what he's doing all day. Don't get me wrong. I know you're going to want time with your husband. I know you are. I know you need a date. I know you need a trip, honey. And I know more than that, you need for him to pay attention to that body. But he obviously thinks that he has the time. So it's something that you're doing that you need to stop, to show him what it's going to feel like if you're no longer there. And I'm really rooting for you guys, because I do think you guys are a wonderful couple. And any marriage, anytime people take their time to promise God that they're going to do the right thing to each other and be there for each other and get each other to heaven, essentially, I'm here for it. So I'm going to move on, but just know I'm rooting for you, girl. And to both of you, I would like for you to bless your marriage with other marriages and other relationships that are healthy, so you can see how people get through it and how people compromise in situations that they don't necessarily want to. But they move on, and Benzino has a one-on-one with Spirit. It was really enlightening, because all he wants is love. I've been seeing that for years. Benzino has been looking for love, and unfortunately, he's just been looking for it in the wrong places. I mean, seriously, you look for love, but deliberately with a woman who, number one, had an intimate sexual relationship with someone you're close to, and someone who you really didn't know that much about. It's like you fell head over heels like a teenager, for someone that you didn't really know, all in the name of getting back at this guy. So now you are kind of reaping, the what comes with that, and the way you met her, and you want to be upset about it. And I would be upset about it too, because it's not just her. You feel used, you feel abused, and I definitely can see that you have been abused, because she's definitely violent, and I would call the police on her ass too. But the usury might be at your own hand. It might be something that you are putting out there prematurely. You shouldn't lead with what you can do for a person. You should lead with what you can be. So I understand you where you say that you might not know what love is, and that the last love that you had was from your mom, and how she's not here anymore. And I do feel for you for that. So I do want you to move on. Althea's not the one. It seems like you're in love with her, and like you're just still rooting for a relationship or hoping for a relationship with her, but she's doing nothing but going out of her way to say that she wants nothing of the sort with you, even going as far as to have sex with you as a last resort. You don't want to be anybody's second. So this is pretty much how the episode ends, with Benzino having another breakthrough, in tears, of course, which I'm glad that he's getting some help. So we'll continue to review this show because it's so interesting, and I'm all the way here for Spirit, because I think she really knows her stuff and that she's really going to help these couples. If you want more videos like this one, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. And also, if you're here for the bell, go ahead and hit the bell so you can be notified when I upload more videos. Until next time. Hate it or love it, or you can love it or hate it, but it's major, it's major.